Great way to start it. Okay. Sometimes you're going to have to write your own equation. When you write your equations, I really don't think you're going to have a problem writing the equation. So if you have a word problem, just remember that there's something that's being multiplied and there's something that's being added or subtracted. That's what the 2 steps are. You're either going to multiply, divide, or you're going to add, subtract, or it's one from each. So you can multiply and then add, or multiply, subtract. You could divide, then add, or divide, then subtract. It's one, then the other. To help you figure out which is which, these happen one time. This is the thing that's happening once. So like you pay a fee, or you buy a ticket to get to the movies, and this is the thing that happens once. This stuff over here, it's a repetition of something. It's a repeated action. So like division is just repeated subtraction. Multiplication is repeat addition. So you pay a fee to join the gym, and then you pay $10 per month. You're probably going to look for the word per for this one. Per, each. I don't know, I have a whole list over there.
Will it be a lot of word problems?
For today, no. To me, I really don't think y'all are going to struggle with the word problem part, because the part that you're going to be tested on is still 7th grade, and you're just learning this part, so it won't get too intense. Later this week, when we push into the 8th grade side of it, I still don't think the word problem part's going to be hard. It's the solving part that's going to be.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, the writing the equation is going to be cake for y'all, I really think, because it's just, if you can read and understand, writing the equation is not hard. Solving the equation is where things can get a little rocky. So speaking of solving the equation, I want to pick something difficult. And by difficult, I mean one step up from easy. Here we go. I like this one. So off to the right, put negative 2p minus 4 equals 2. I'm going to bump this all the way up. Negative 2p minus 4 equals 2. Now, when we solve algebraic equations, when you solve an equation, like moving forward, when you do like on the builders, let me pull one up. When you do these, we follow PEMDAS forwards, right? We do the parentheses, there aren't any, so we do the exponents, and then we multiply, and then we add. We go forward. If we don't know what one of those numbers is, like here, I imagine when I think about algebra, I think about like tying knots. When I'm going forward, I'm tying a knot. But when I do algebra, I'm untying a knot. I'm trying to figure out where they started, not where it ended. Because I know where it ended, but I'm missing a piece in the puzzle. So we do PEMDAS backwards now. We go this way. Forever, you go that way. So the last thing you touch when you solve equations is parentheses. That is, since it's the first thing you do when you're working it out, it is the last thing you do when you solve. Okay. So the first step, adding and subtracting. Those are the first things you do. Look for addition and subtraction. Look for add/subtract. Since we are still dealing with the 7th grade side of this, you'll only have one of those. We will get into the multiple pieces part later. But for now, we have one thing. So what is the adding or subtracting that you see in this equation?
-4.
-4. So that's why I picked this one. So I see a negative here, but this -2's relationship is being multiplied. So the adding and subtracting is right here. So they're minusing 4. Do the inverse. I'm going to use 7th grade pre-AP terms. Do inverse operation to both sides. So if they took away 4, what's the opposite of taking away 4? Adding 4. So you have to write your steps. If it helps you to put that line right here, this is a balance beam. I know that this side is equal to this. So if I add 4 pounds to the left side, I have to add 4 pounds to the right side to keep it balanced. If the line does not help you, you don't have to do it, but you do have to write +4 on both sides. Now the goal here is to isolate the variable. So -4 + 4 is 0. So I don't write anything. I just cross them out because it's nothing now. But 2 + 4 is 6. And now I have this -2p that stays because I haven't done anything to it yet. Now this the step 2 part of your 2-step equations, you're going to look for multiply, divide. And you do inverse. It's the same thing. Operation. Is operation 2 p's or 1 p? 2 p's? I'm having a brain fart. So on the left side, what did they do to the variable? What is the operation between this number and this variable? This is multiplication. What is the inverse or opposite of multiply? Divide. Now we don't do divide with the dot, line, dot. For this, we draw a line on both sides because fractions are just another way to show division. And I'm going to put, this is called a coefficient. And I put that on bottom. The coefficient is the number that touches the variable. That's a coefficient. So -2 divided by -2 is 1. So I don't have to write 1p. We talked about that on Thursday, last week. Right, because it's by itself. It's like when I have 2p, it's p. If it's just 1p, it's just 1p. Like that is 1p. I don't put a 1 in front of it. So that's my goal. And then 6 divided by -2, that's p. Good. Now there's a bonus 3rd step for those of y'all that like to be right. Cool thing about algebra, you know, if you can do 6th grade math, you can know if you did the 8th grade, 7th grade math right by checking your work. Check your solution. This is the solution. So if I plug it back in, -2 times 3 minus 4 equals 2. And your job here is basically true or false. So which part do I do first?
Add or subtract?
Now we're going forward.
Oh.
Multiply, divide first. So this is parentheses, but this parentheses doesn't mean do anything. It means multiply. So -2 times 3 is,
-6.
and -6 minus 4 is,
-2.
it's not though.
-2.
Wait, where did we mess up?
You didn't put the negative sign.
Thank you. I was hoping we didn't solve it wrong. So this is a -3, so that's a -3, and -2 times -3 is +6 minus 4 is, there we go. So I know that I'm right. I took the time to check it. The end. All right, let's do one more because I want you to see a different side of things. Let me pick one that was difficult. That one's easy, that one's easy. Okay, so we have d over 4 minus 9 equals -3. Following my steps, what's the first thing I need to do? Look for addition and subtractions. Addition and subtraction. So what is being added or subtracted here? 9, and it's being, okay, what's the opposite of subtracting 9? So I'm going to add 9 to both sides. This becomes crossed out because it's nothing. I've got -3 plus 9. 6. And this d over 4 stays right there. Now that d over 4, what is that?
It's something divided by 4.
Right, it's division. So what's the opposite of dividing by 4?
Multiplying.
So to do this one, it's a little weird. Because technically it's times 4. You can put it down below. But for this one, you have to put it sideways because it's a fraction division. Because then you want to do this. Like that. So now I have just one d because d divided by 1 is just d. And then 6 times 4.
24.
Now, I want to take the time to check it. So what is 24 divided by 4?
6.
So 24 divided by 4 is 6. And what's 6 minus 9?
3.
-3. So it works.
Yay.
That's it.